Welcome back to game number 4. This series continuing longer and longer, but we might be over after this series in this best of 5, finding out who the champions of the Blue Otter Platinum League finals are, as Tempest is currently sitting 2-1. If they win this, they are the champions. They are the winners. It is all on PLATLAS's side to do something to find a victory and send us into the Silver Scrapes number 5 game. Smartest, we've seen games 1, 2, and 3 so far. What are your thoughts setting up for game number 4?
I think that you definitely have to look to Duck Solo if you are PLATLAS. Okay, we need to prevent this man from getting a lead early. He last 2 games in a row, he's gotten a lead early and he's taken off with it. And then we need to put our top laner on something aggressive he can dominate lane with. So I think their 2 draft conditions are get Zion on something aggressive. He did well with it in game 1. That he can get him a counter pick or whatever you have to do, right? And get Weenie a matchup that lets him either play safe to prevent Duxel from getting a lead, or plays aggressive so he can be the one looking for the lead. And get Buddha on an early game ganker. Take advantage of the early game. They need to start showing dominance early on, because every time Tempest has gotten a lead early, they have won the game.
We'll see if they could draft themselves something early. You can see Tempest once again banning away the Aatrox in this pro draft early game stage, taking away the Hecarim and the Olaf as well. Olaf was only played in game 1 of the night, the one game in which PLATLAS has been able to find victory, and so Tempest saying, let's go ahead and take that away, and PLATLAS locks in Lissandra for the first pick. She was a champion they played in game number 1. Jugo finding some pretty good success on that there in the mid lane. It allows, no, hold on, they actually swapped it out. I forgot. They hovered it and swapped it with the Syndra. So this game, they are blind picking the Lissandra. That's a bit dangerous. Oh, it could be flex, true. It could be flex to the top lane. Though I haven't seen much Lissandra top.
You're right. It is all mana hungry, tough to execute in the top lane. As the Ezreal Braum, once again getting locked in from Tempest, they did find success with it. Or no, they ran Ezreal Yuumi. That's what it was.
But Yuumi was banned away, so they're on the safe Ezreal Braum. I think they may have hovered the Braum, but it's still a good lane. And obviously, Tempest playing that Braum a couple of times, I believe, already. Let's see, PLATLAS played it in game number 2. Tempest played it in game number 3, and it was banned in game number 1. It's a very safe lane. It's a very, we're going to absorb your pressure and just farm up. And, a Twitch Alistar locked in by PLATLAS.
I like it. I like the pickup. I think that it does give PLATLAS the damage they need, definitely. Oh, Twitch is Vayne. Correction. Okay. So just Twitch is Vayne. Still a spicy pick. I actually might have liked Twitch more, but Vayne Alistar still a good combination. Still a lot of damage, just not as teamfight dominant in the mid game as a Twitch would be. As a Ryze gets locked in for Tempest.
Okay, so Twitch, Vayne, Alistar, locked in by the side of PLATLAS. It is pro draft, does have those kinks and errors and issues, but we will go on right on through. And the thing I like about the Vayne is, for the PLATLAS' side, they can scale late with her. She does decimate tanks. It doesn't matter if you're a Braum. She's still going to be able to chunk off huge amounts of your health as the game gets fairly late. Plus, in the early game, she's still fairly decent. Can pair well with Alistar, who gets a knock-up, setting her up for a good condemn. The problem is target selection, because Ezreal's going to be very hard to lock down. He has that Arcane Shift to escape. And Braum, once again, with the Unbreakable, it basically just negates a lot of the damage coming out from whatever ADC he's against, but even in this case, the Vayne. So the positioning is going to be interesting to watch for, and the scaling on this bottom lane from PLATLAS as we go through the second ban phase. The Kindred, the Scion taken away by Tempest, the Kennen. What is this last ban from PLATLAS? I would love to see the... Ooh, Irelia? Oh, it is Irelia! Oh! Smartest, the smartest in the room, calling the Irelia in the top side. So with Sejuani locked in, that means that the top lane is still open for Tempest to counter pick. That has been some of their advantages in game 2 and 3 that they have already been successful and won. And once again, PLATLAS are left out in the open as to what top laner they want to pick to find an advantage, and they have to blind pick it.
Yeah, I'm expecting, based off of the playstyle, if they switch to something aggro, I wouldn't be surprised to see them blind picking something closer to like a Renekton. Or Mundo is an option. It could be Mundo Jungle. I like Mundo Jungle personally a lot.
I just think you don't want to see Mundo in the top lane. Once again, a more passive champion, a more sit back, tank up, heal up, let me get into my level 10 situation and join my team for a bigger fight. But the Echo in the mid lane is... Wait, hold on. This is Echo Jungle.
I don't know. It could be Echo top, Mundo Jungle, Lissandra mid. It could be Mundo Jungle. Wait, I just said that. It could be Echo Jungle, Mundo top, Lissandra. The thing for sure is Lissandra is probably mid. But the Mundo and Echo are flexed. Could be
Lissandra top, Echo mid Mundo Jungle.
Correct. That was the one nuance I was going to throw in. That is a possibility. Let's get confirmation. That is Urgot. So MF is Urgot.
Oh, I was hoping for a Misfortune top lane. Would have been spicy to see Tempest try something different. But nope, Urgot going to be a pretty nice answer to the Dr. Mundo. He's got a lot of damage as well as the ultimate for the execution. He says, I don't care how low you get, as long as you're within the range of my ultimate to drag you back in, finish you off, your healing won't matter. So that's what they're looking for on the top side of the map, is letting the Urgot, especially if they get the gank by the Sejuani, and locking down that Mundo. That should be a lot of free kills going over to the Urgot, not Misfortune, as ProDraft has erred again.
The thing is, if Mundo rushes Bramblevest, he actually trades against Urgot, because Urgot, if he tries to put Urgot on, right, and goes for the auto, it's one is procking Bramble, and Mundo can actually out-trade him there. Right, even if Urgot takes Conk or the lane, which he 100% should, there's no reason to get anything else. Mundo can build against Urgot to win this lane. It just depends how they choose to play it. I was a little skeptical on how Zion Athenian chose to build TK the last game, so I'm curious to see how he chooses to build this time. But I will say that being a player of both the Mundo and the Urgot, it is not a guaranteed win one lane for Urgot.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see as that comes through. It is the Mundo locked in. I definitely think with all those options, having that Mundo who's got a lot of sustain, as you just talked about, the potential to maybe find a couple of turnarounds on the top side of the map. And that means the Echo should be in the jungle. There we go. And Lissandra for the mid lane. So now that we know a little bit more about the compositions and where actually the members of PLATLAS are going to go, let's talk about these junglers, because game 1, Zohair didn't do that much. Game 2, Zohair showed up a little bit more, but still didn't seem to be in dominating form. And game 3, you gave him the personal MVP for having helped carry that team into a victory. Now he's back on the Sejuani in the jungle, facing up against an Echo that could have that early game evade potential just because of the damage the Echo can do, even though his cooldowns in the early game are pretty abysmal. Do you think Zohair can carry this again?
I think it'll be an interesting game, because their team composition says 1-3-1. Right? You said you have Urgot in the side wave, you have Ryze in the side lane, you have Ezreal and Braum pretty safe. Sejuani is kind of an oddball in the situation where it's not exactly obvious where you would want Sejuani to go. You could keep Sejuani with your 2-man to a 3, like you could keep it as a 3. You could try and have Sejuani go and lock down Mundo with Urgot or something. A lot of different options here. I do think there were better options in Sejuani for their particular team composition they're choosing to run. But if they choose to play a more team fight based playstyle, saying, okay, we're just going to team fight, Sejuani offers a lot more there. The only thing to counter that is Vayne, come up to a certain point, Vayne will just blow away Sejuani hits, right? Once you get the Rage Blade going, you have the attack buff, the Rune Kick, the % health damage coming in. It's going to be really hard for Sejuani to live through all that, especially when you have Mundo, Lissandra, and Echo all doing good amounts of AP damage as well.
Yeah, so we'll see if that can come through, but you still got to admit the side of Tempest are looking pretty stacked with the Sejuani and the Braum both being able to pair together for that almost infinite CC lockdown. Once they get on somebody, you're running again. We saw a little bit out of PLATLAS last game, but it wasn't so successful for them. A 3-tank, 2 carry, Braum, Sejuani, Urgot, and Ryze and Ezreal for that damage. However, that said, Urgot can still also be a heavy damage dealer. He's definitely a bruiser champion, loves to find those kills with those ultimates, as well as be in the middle of these fights. So you're still looking at a 1-3-1 with great collapse potential out of the Rise Realm Warp, as well as Urgot taking that TP. So they could run the 1-3-1 and then collapse, something that they did very well in Game 3, the last game that we just finished watching. We'll see if it can happen again this game, as PLATLAS giving themselves a little bit of pick, a little bit of team fight, a little bit of everything, really. Yeah,
I actually really like PLATLAS's team composition here. I still stand by the fact that I think a Twitch would be nice for them. I was actually really excited to see that. But the Vayne, they can also make work really well here. They have the Lissandra, they have the Alistar, both great engage tools to lock down like a Rise or an Ezreal. You know, there's not a ton Braum can do to prevent anything there. Echo also being able to jump in there, get a lot, especially if he goes like a tankier style, like a tank AP Echo or something like that, can just jump into them and eat a lot of those damage. Honestly, if Echo or Lissandra can eat the Urgot ult, that would be also ideal. They have ways to keep themselves alive through that. Obviously, you know, Echo having his Chrono Break, or Lissandra being able to either Zhonya's or use Frozen Tomb on herself. A lot of things to deal with the execute of Fear Beyond Death from Urgot. And you have Mundo up in the front line, who is basically just free to become a monstrous tank. And after a certain, like, once he gets like a Spirit Massage, a Thornmail, and let's say he opts for Warmogs, Randuins, or something like that, it's going to be so hard for anyone on Tempest to actually kill him, because he's not going to have the damage output for it. Urgot having more of a over time output, Ezreal obviously not being a tank shredder like Vayne is. I think PLATLAS actually has tools in their kit this game to actually win, where I didn't necessarily feel the same way in the last game, as we saw Tempest just take over.
Well, before we get too much further, let's roll through the players and what champions they are piloting in this game with a minute left on the spectator delay. For the side of PLATLAS, we've got Zion, Athene, and in the top lane taking the Mundo, Budicus with the Echo into the jungle, Weenie, Jugo with the Lissandra into the mid lane, the Tupper on the Vayne, the AD carry role, and Nala and Pepper back on the Alistar for the support.
And for Team Tempest, we have Great Chase running the Urgot in the top lane, Zohair running Sejuani in the jungle, Duck Solo on the Rise mid lane, Come On Shoot Faster on the Azure AD carry once again, and R21 Cardi again on the Braum support.
All right, so with that, as you said, the composition from PLATLAS looking a little bit better this game. One of the things that I like is they've kind of comped themselves a bit of early game with the Lissandra, the little bit of mid game with the Echo, and a little bit of late game with the Vayne. They've kind of been able to blend all three together, make sure that they have at least some strong points throughout the entire game. However, that said, we talked about how they need to find advantages in lane. They cannot let Tempest find a couple of kills in the laning phase, because Tempest is so good at snowballing. I wouldn't even mind PLATLAS trying to roam and group a little bit early. Go ahead and lose a couple of plates if you have to make sure that you're not just dropping down, letting kills go straight over to the side of Tempest during the laning phase, because they will snowball off of that. We'll see if they can manage that in game number 4.
Yeah, in my eyes, this game are in the top lane. I'm a little concerned for PLATLAS in that area. I feel as though Great Jace is definitely one of the MVPs. You know, he is a returning veteran. He is sort of one of those star players to look towards. I think that if he's allowed to run rampant on the Urgot top lane, it's going to really accelerate Tempest team comp. They're going to be able to run a 1-4 very easily. If Mundo can't match Urgot, it's going to be really bad news, because it means that Urgot will most likely be in a position where he can 1v2 pretty easily, as it looks like Tempest is picking out a stacking position behind red buff.
Oh, they definitely want to make sure that they don't get invaded like we saw from game number 1, where the side of PLATLAS was able to find a small advantage in the very, very early game. Making sure this isn't going to be happening this game. They've stacked all 5 members. And one of the things that blue teams love to do is they sit down here, and then as soon as the laning phase begins, they wander into the enemy team jungle and look to drop a ward. That's exactly what Budicus is doing right now. There he goes. Going to set down the ward, and Sejuani's behind him. Going to charge and force the flash out of him. So it is the jungler from PLATLAS' turn to burn a flash early.
but he got the ward, so...
Oh, OP.
Worth?
OP ward. No, well, the Worth, well, I got a little bit of calm moment. I actually want to go ahead and pan up here and show you guys the route that the Sejuani took, Zohair took in game number 2. Finished off the red buff, then came right back here to this wall and hopped over the wall with the Arctic Assault, and then was able to wander all the way through here without being seen by that ward. So we'll see if the Sejuani is able to do that again. It's a very small thing, but when you can find those small ways to kind of confuse the enemy, make sure that they're second-guessing where you're positioned, they don't know where the enemy team jungler is, that could lead to much greater success down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually haven't seen Echo jungle in a very long time, so I'm not sure what his clear times look like. Sejuani actually has pretty good clear times after the first buff. Struggling here definitely a little bit. Didn't necessarily get the greatest of leashes from our god. I think actually soloed the buff. When you don't have a leash as jungler, it kind of sucks because you're several seconds behind the enemy jungler, which is just not a good situation to be in.
Alright, we'll see what Echo can do with trying to match against the Sejuani. She may just walk right past this ward on blue buff, so they will get a little bit of information. Once again, a good late ward dropped by, I believe it was Nala and Pepper in that bottom side jungle, making sure to keep eyes on the enemy team jungler. And I gotta say that Tempest actually hasn't been the greatest at the early game ward control. You know, they haven't been able to track where the enemy team jungler is, but even when the side of Budapest is looking for those ganks, they can still collapse very well. So keep our eyes on the mid lane, especially this Ryze, because he's going to have that ultimate available. Did not take TP this game, instead with that cleanse looking to clear away the ultimate out of the Lissandra, but still has that Realm Warp available to try to collapse and join a team fight.
Yeah, I think really sort of being scared of getting double a lockdown from the Lissandra and Echo, I decided that, you know, more worth to be more mindful of back timers and take the cleanse to prevent just dying every time ultimates are outpost 6.
Alright, while we're getting a little bit of a slow fight, just a couple of tickles here and there, we are going to check in. It is a Windrake start to the game. Not the most exciting of Drakes, but still pretty nice, especially for teams that want to collapse, want to make those roaming plays around the map. So we'll see whichever team decides to rush that one first, which I don't think either team will rush it, but, you know, target it after maybe finding advantages in the bottom side of the map.
Alistar autoing the minion prevented Vayne from picking it up. Oh.
Well, she's a CS ahead of Ezreal, so GG winning in the bottom side from PLATLAS.
Multiple CS ahead. And actually, you know, talking about the Cloud Drake though, it actually it would benefit more. It would benefit PLATLAS more because they have the Echo, they have the Mundo. I think them getting the Drake is more substantial than it's a committed fight right here.
Zion Athenian dropping down to about half. However, Echo once again going into the enemy team jungle. She's been set up, but no! Will drop solo to Zohair, who just finds him, catches him out, and punishes him for not having flash. The over-aggression out of this Echo is not good, and he lost his flash, now lost his life. Urgot on the top side flashing and looking to finish off the Mundo, dropping him low. He didn't have flash available. Zion already used it, and he will go down. A second kill for Tempest, and we're straight into a pause.
Well, at least he got the kill already, so no BM.
Can't be upset about that one if you already went down before the pause went through. We'll see if we can get some information as to what occurred and why we are sitting on this pause. It looks like there's a little bit of lag out of the Tupper, the Vayne from the side of PLATLAS, so we'll see if we can resolve that shortly. But in the early game, Tempest, they've already won 2 games. They could win this game number 3 and take victory in the entire finals series, and they're already starting off on a good foot.
Yeah, and this is again, this was my big concern. Is I was nervous of how well Zion Athenian would do on the Mundo into the Urgot. While I still stand by that it's a lane that Mundo has the kit to deal with. You know, it matters a lot on your positioning, how you play it, how you put, like, you have to put yourself in position for your cleavers. It really requires a lot of finesse to it. And I was definitely a little bit concerned, as you know, Zion Athenian, while by no means of being a bad player, Grey Jays definitely seems to be sort of the star player for Tempest. You know, getting leads for himself solo in almost every single game now. So I think it's just sort of we are definitely seeing a little bit of an outclass situation here.
Great Jace and Duck solo. Oh, Alistar making a little bit of play on the bottom side. Braum trying to step forward, throws out that Unbreakable, making sure Vayne can't get any more auto attacks down onto that Ezreal. Whoever wasn't terribly concerned. Something to note, Come On Shoot Faster is not running TP, so he won't be able to get that quick back to lane, or back to the base and grab 2 tier before getting back into lane with the TPs. Instead, wanting to take the safer route with that flash to join and pair it with the arcane shift. Keep himself super safe in the laning phase.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. I thought I had an extra comment to make, and I kind of ran out.
I wasn't sure. I couldn't tell. I was like, more coming. Interesting pickup by Urgot on the Kindle gem. I thought he would, and the Boots thought for sure he would elect to go for the phase rush. Perhaps being respectful of Boudica, saying, you know what, it's chance that he's going to come for me in the top lane here. I want the speed and cooldown to be able to get out. The Boots and cloth armor, I agree with. I'm curious to see if he rushes a Ninja Tabby, Zion Athenian rushes a Ninja Tabby, or if he always
here comes Echo into the bottom lane. That's a beautiful parallel convergence, stunning up the Ezreal. He's going to be CC'd. He forced a flash with the Ignite, taking down the shield from the Braum. Might be enough to keep him alive. Are you kidding me? And come on, shoot faster. Gets out of all of that in the bottom side.
Cardi flashed to block the projectile that would have killed. Shoot.
It was not a flash. His flash is actually still available. It was just the stand behind me. Just the stand behind me to jump in front of that. Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Someone buy that man a cookie.
I don't know, might need a couple of victory cookies after this game at the moment. However, something to note is despite Tempest being up 2 kills, including first blood, they're actually tied in gold overall between these two teams. So, small advantages here and there, but not that significant, especially on that bottom side with that Ezreal backing once again. You can see that Vayne up a pretty decent amount of CS. Yeah. In the mid lane, things are fairly even against Lissandra and the Ryze. However, that is actually so good for PLATLAS because rather than letting Duck Solo just decimate the mid lane like he did on the Yasuo in game number 2, I believe it was, Weenie is once again kind of just holding him in place, making sure to keep that farm even and allowing this Lissandra to kind of stack up and get her first items.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing to keep in mind is that Mundo actually took Grasp here, but isn't actually able to get any procs off on it. So, kind of a rough situation in the top lane. I think Lissandra's doing pretty well in the mid lane, but Ryze hasn't actually even back yet. He is, in fact, sitting on 1,800 gold here. He doesn't have the TP, so it's just there we go. Now he's back in. He's going to be able to pick up either Catalyst, a tier, or Lost Chapter, depending on which route he wants to go.
See what he decides to get with that. He is going to go the tier route, so wants to grab himself some of that extra mana. Look at the extra mana, as he's going to add a mana crystal to that as well. So we'll come back to lane. Mana happy there. However, still not that much damage in the early game. Urgot making a play onto Mundo at the top side. Zion does have the Mundo ultimate available. Not going to use that. Sticking underneath the turret about half health, just trying to match farm against the Urgot and doing a fairly good job so far. Yeah,
one thing I've noticed about Zion Athenian is he plays really, really scared in a lot of these lanes. Even after he gets engaged on, he doesn't trade at all. He kind of just runs and eats the damage, which is really not what you want to do in these situations. You really want to try and retaliate a little bit. Like when you're running away, you want to get the cleaver down. You want to get the excuse me, get the masochism proc off.
It's called trading for a reason. It's not called running away.
Right. And I think, again, as I was mentioning in game 1, a lot of series are about the mental. And when you've sort of been losing lane every game, it is, really hard to have that mentality of, oh, I need to trade. It's very easy to get stuck in the mentality of, I need to not die. If I don't die, that's a win for me. Because you're just so scared of, you don't want to be the reason you're losing. You don't want to be the reason why you lose the series, the tournament, all these sorts of things. Mental is so crucial.
Ult's out in the bottom lane. Ezreal jumped on once again. He's stunned up. And this time, Alistar says, no, you are not escaping. Braum tried to use the Unbreakable Glacier Fissure as well to knock up the Echo. However, the turret shot shooting into Alistar. He can take one more shot before backing away. He's able to save his teammates for the most part. Echo going to go ahead and throw down that ultimate as well to get out. The Urgot, though, TPing in. Toss the ultimate. Missed it onto the Alistar. And now Sejuani chasing it onto the Echo. Blast Cone will send Echo right into the waiting arms of the Urgot, but he's going to flash away. And Lissandra flashes in, gets the ultimate down, locking down great Jace. That's going to be another kill going over to the side of PLATLAS. However, they are going to lose to Lissandra as Ryze makes the roam. Duck Solo didn't even need to use the ult, just ran down to the fight on the bottom side of the map. It was overall won by Tempest just in pressure as they could turn onto the Wind Drake at the moment. They are pinging it out. We'll see if Ryze tries to respond or Sejuani is going to try to solo it.
Yeah, Sejuani doesn't have the greatest solo clear time, so I'm hoping someone comes to help her out. She might be there a while otherwise. But all in all, I mean, like, we saw how chaotic that fight was. The one thing to note, though, is the kills getting onto Sejuani versus Echo. Most likely will end up doing more for Echo in the long run. And I just want to, like, kind of shout out here. Budicus has gotten some beautiful parallel convergences.
Oh, yes.
Double stuns both games. Such a great playmaker. We've seen him do well on just about every champion so far. Another, like, you know, we've always sort of looked to the Tupper or the Tuper on PLATLAS to do the playmaker, saying, you know, he's doing the one doing really well each game. But I mean, Budicus has been trying, definitely. He's been doing a lot of things. In fact, I've criticized Zohair a lot more. Ooh, arcane shift, nick of time.
That's why you take the Ezreal into the Alistar, able to get out of situations just like that, and then you add the Braum as well, make it incredibly safe. However, that's where you, as you were just saying, have to give credit to Budicus for making these plays on the bottom side and finding kills with that. Now, the first time he came down, didn't actually kill the Ezreal. You can see just now with that play, they were able to find one each. But again, when you're burning those flashes, when you're burning those abilities and heals and whatnot, that is allowing you to find those more successful ganks. The heal and flash are back up for Ezreal, so once again, he's fairly safe, but there is some pressure from both junglers around the Rift Herald that is up on the map, and so far through these games, Tempest has been able to secure it every single game. We'll see if they once again can secure it for themselves and use it to find the first turret of the game. But they're going to be chasing in onto Echo for the moment, as Budicus is going to get jumped on a little bit. He's trying to defend a control ward on the top side of the map. Lissandra coming in as well. Mundo and Urgot going to be facing off against each other. Sejuani chasing in. There's the rest of the team coming in. Lissandra with the claw. We'll see what can happen as Urgot going to go ahead and be ulted by the Lissandra. Drop down to about half health. Taken down very, very quickly as PLATLAS find themselves one. They want to continue the chase. Mundo speeding himself forward, looking for a Q. Just needs to land one cleaver to find themselves a kill. However, it's not going to land onto the Sejuani, so she's able to walk away for now. Rift Herald was started up. Mundo's going to go back to it. However, they're not actually going to go all in. Braum roaming up from the bottom side of the map, as well as the Alistar, leaving the ADCs to 1v1 each other.
And I just want to point out that I was actually getting ready to comment on this before that fight even started. This is the first time that Zion has found a CS lead in a top lane as well. So finding the kill, but not only that, but he is up 20 CS. So, you know, despite struggling in these trades, is managing to come out on top. So definitely have to give a slight shout out to that.
Yep, and on the bottom lane, that Vayne also 20 CS over this Ezreal, so doing really, really well down there. Did go down earlier when there was that fight underneath the turret, a little bit of heavy dive from the side of PLATLAS. However, still finding those advantages over the Ezreal. Junglers going to be 1v1ing themselves for a moment as top laners around the corner. We'll see if they decide to join the fight as Budicus on the run, gonna go right back in onto Sejuani, get a little bit more damage out of the Q. There's that ultimate as well, dropping Sejuani down to about a third health. The flash forward from the Mundo, looking for the Q and cleaver. However, he's gonna get ulted in by the Urgot. First successful ultimate of the game from Great Jace. Echo still gonna be trying to go in and make the trade as Lissandra's here as well, dropping low. Double kill for the Urgot. That's gonna be a triple kill as he takes down the Echo as well. And Great Jace just goes from 0 to hero in the fight. And now the Vayne gonna be in trouble on the bottom side of the map, but where no more autos will come through, so she should be able to. Ooh, that was actually a little bit close from the Echo. Should be able to walk away. Didn't get concussive blows stacked from the Braum. But great, great play from Tempest to the top side of the map.
Yeah, and I hate to be a stickler here, but again, great.
Condemn from the Vayne. Gonna stun up the Braum for a moment. Knocked back by the Alistar as well. He's gonna throw out the Glacial Fissure, slowing them down. Vayne gonna still set forward. They might be able to find with the Ignite, taking down the kill onto Guardian, and they will get him. However, the Vayne unable to chase any further as the Ezreal is still full health. The Vayne sitting at about half.
Right, so what I was getting ready to say a second ago is itemization. Like, I don't know why Mundo has a sun effect.
Oh, well, he's actually able to find a lot of damage down onto the Urgot. We'll see if he can eventually maybe find a 1v1 and end trade, as that is a 300 gold bounty on the Urgot's head. And he's been shoved underneath the turret at the moment, sitting at about 500 health. Mundo with a great heal with that ultimate. Ezreal on the bottom side of the map, no mana. So he's going to go ahead and hit that recall button. There is an Ocean Drake spawning in under a minute. And there's pressure at the moment from PLATLAS on the bottom side of the map, just giving a couple of plates over to the Vayne. Excuse me, the plates just dropped off.
Yeah, I mean, like, they do still have a slight, though however slight it may be, a gold lead. So this is definitely in a better situation than they've been in the last couple games. I want to see PLATLAS take this lead and kind of accelerate it and keep taking advantage of it. While Tempest did find the Cloud Drake, if they get this Ocean Drake, it would be huge for them.
I would actually say... Go ahead.
I was going to say, they have the Mundo and the Lissandra. Getting Ocean is very crucial for PLATLAS here.
I would agree with that. I was going to mention that this is probably the closest game out of the entire Best of 5 series so far. Game number 1, there was a pretty good lead by Tempest, even up to 3,000 to 4,000 gold, but matched by PLATLAS through a couple of good team fight plays. Game number 2 and 3 heavily in favor of Tempest and snowballed to a finish. Now game number 4, gold was almost tied for most of it, and PLATLAS has taken a small advantage by securing the first turret of the game on the Mundo in the top lane. He's also got a 40 CS lead over this Urgot. So despite dying very early on, he's been able to find some advantages, especially in pressure as the bottom lane going to be going and Vayne going to be in a little bit of trouble. Glacial Fish are going to knock her out. She flashes the Sejuani ultimate though. They're turning on to the Alistar. However, he's not going to be the focus. Urgot tries to throw out the ultimates on cooldown, so they won't be able to use it on the Alistar, but they've already found one kill in the bottom lane Vayne. Now they're going to drop the Alistar as well. They can go straight onto the Ocean Drake and secure themselves another late game objective with that neutral Ocean Drake. No, they're going to ignore it and instead roam to the mid lane to try to stop this mid lane first tier turret from dropping. PLATLAS knocking it down to about a 5th health. The Echo going to go in. Fellow Convergence going to stun up the Urgot. No, as he's just outside of range. True Shot Barrage dropping the Lissandra low as Boudica's now has to run. Zion trying to heal up with the Mundo ultimate, absorbing a lot of the damage and doesn't go down. Braum has fallen, and in a 3v3 fight in the mid lane, PLATLAS come out with a kill.
2 kills. Yeah, absolutely. This is what I was saying before.
Oh, they take the rise down too. Yeah, I missed that. Go ahead.
No, this is what I was saying before, is their team composition is actually pretty good between the CC lockdown of Echo and Lissandra, along with, you know, Mundo just standing in front of everything. It's actually a pretty decent team composition if they can execute off of it. Once Vayne gets Rageblade is really the point in time where I think PLATLAS could sort of look to make a comeback here. And I think we're all sort of rooting for PLATLAS this game just so we can have a game 5. I think it's a good series. However, we can't discredit Tempest. You know, once again, we have the same situation we've had the last 2 games. You have Great Days with a KD advantage, he's 4-2. You have Duck Solo at a 2-1-3 Rise, who will continue to get scarier and scarier as the game goes on. And you have Zohair, who has just been contributing to, been there to sort of contribute, not really like setting up the plays, but maybe counter ganking or following up on fights or things like that. A lot of small skirmishes coming out.
7 out of 9 kill participation out of that Sejuani, so Zohair doing a fantastic job of being around when the fights and kills happen. Now, something quickly to note while we're in a little bit of a positioning and jockeying for vision. PLATLAS, they're actually from an organization called Atlas, which doesn't necessarily produce the highest quality teams because they kind of pull together community members to just play when they're looking for teams and games. But this group, this team, has somehow found that synergy to group together and fight their way to be in the finals of the Blue Otter Platinum League. So they are looking so good. Now, they lost game 2 and 3, but another parallel convergence out of Echo should stun up the Urgot. That's going to be yet another kill for the side of PLATLAS. The Urgot will drop down, and now they can turn to the next target. Mundo getting a cleaver onto Duck Solo, excuse me. The Rise dropping very low, but Glacial Fissure going to lock Echo underneath the turret. So Braum able to help get one back. Sejuani able to find that kill, and now Nala trying to do what he can, staying and tanking up, keeping this Mundo alive as Zion trying to run away. The disengage is good. It's a 1-for-1 so far, and not much damage down onto that mid lane turret. But with Tempest being able to push the members of PLATLAS away from that turret, we'll see if they can secure this Ocean Drake they're starting to roam to.
Yeah, unfortunately, like multiple members of PLATLAS backing here, so there will be no room to contest this. A little nervous for Vayne here as it'll step up CS. Concerned if Tempest is going to look to just collapse on her. She just clued into the fact that they're there with the Drake being taken away, but this could be an easy dive situation coming in, as there's no near backup available for this Vayne. And in that last fight, we still saw like how much damage, you know, the Rise and Ezreal still are able to put down, even despite, you know, not exactly having the largest of leads. So I mean, really, it comes down to is PLATLAS able to just drops their CC lockdown onto a couple members, lock them up, you know, get a couple picks off as they're the pick style composition, or will the sheer damage coming out of Tempest with the Urgot, Rise, and Ezreal be too much for PLATLAS to tank through?
Well, we'll see as the pressure on the bottom side by the Vayne and Alistar coming in, looking to not only claim the bottom lane turret, but they might be just going straight in for the kills as well. Vayne getting a couple shots down. Lissandra, is going to take the claw over the wall, so we'll join her team in a 3v3 at the moment. Still jockeying for position. Rise going to come down as well. It's looking like both teams are collecting for another big fight on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, it is, at this point in the game, you're if you are PLATLAS, you are basically saying, okay, we want Rageblade on Vayne, and then we want Baron. Because, you know, you have Vayne, someone who clears Baron very quickly. Whereas for Tempest, they really have no great epic clear time champions available to them. They have Rise, who, after a certain point, does a good amount of damage, but you'll never compete with a single target damage Vayne.
Parallel Convergence out of Echo. Okay, they're not going to chase it in. It's just sidestep from the Sejuani and the Braum. And again, they were kind of the tanky frontliners here. Looking to grab someone, the squishier members like the Rise or the Ezreal. But they can be a little bit slippery. And all the pressure on the bottom side from PLATLAS. They're going to back away, letting that turret sit it. Just check it out really quick. 472 health.
I like this play from PLATLAS. I like how they didn't just tunnel. I don't like how they didn't just stay on the bot side of the map and say, we want this tower. I like how they moved. This is going to let Vayne secure the tower. Oh, they're looking for this. They're looking,
and they're going to be able to catch out the Echo. They slowed him down as well. Lissandra trying to escape. True Shot Barrage going to come through. Echo is ulted back into the fight, and Nala doing the best to CC everyone up. The Braum will drop. The Urgot will drop. PLATLAS are making the plays happen. Zion Athenia going to chase in, slowing everyone down. The Ezreal and the Rise are left alone. That's another cleaver from the Mundo, taking down the Ezreal in the back. Echo, in the meantime, is joined by the Alistar. CC locking down Zohair. Sejuani trying to 1v2, but Jugo comes in just in time, drops the Q, takes out the Sejuani, making it a 4-4-0 for PLATLAS, and now they can chase in onto Duxolo as well. The Vayne getting off a huge amount of damage, but no, they're going to focus onto the turret with the wave coming and crashing in.
And that's exactly that fight happened that way, in my opinion, solely because of Budicus there. His timing on the chrono break there to dodge CC and get basically 4 members of Tempest drop from the AP ratios he has, it was so crucial. And again, once again, the CC chain between Nala, Jugo, and Budicus were so crucial that we saw people just not being able to move. Right, and this is where I said their team comps. I actually like the way their team comp looks.
Well, not only that, but they're also working so well together. You could see as soon as the fight from the side of Tempest started to split up because they were taking just too much damage all grouped together, dealing with Lissandra and everyone else. The Mundo immediately beelined it for the Ezreal and the Rise, saying, I'm going to absorb all your damage. It's okay. I got my ultimate. I will take it all, and I will add those extra cleavers to slow you down as you're trying to escape. Allow the rest of my team, the Vayne and the Lissandra, to try to come in and grab those kills. They weren't quite as fast as the Mundo, speeding in as he claimed Ezreal's life for his own. But in the meantime, the Alistar and the Echo playing together very, very well, taking down the Sejuani on top of it all. So great stuff there from PLATLAS. And let's look really quickly at the gold, as one of the factors is that it is a 5,000 gold lead. This is actually one of the largest leads they've had in the entire finals series. They kind of were getting towards this in game number 1, but again, are looking to them seeing, can they close out a clean game, because there is still that late game scaling Rise on the side of Tempest, the late game Urgot that will be incredibly hard to kill as he gets tankier, he gets beefier. We'll see if PLATLAS can still find these team fights that are giving them the edge so far.
Right, and what a couple crucial points here. A, Vayne has Rageblade now, so Vayne has come online. She's going to do tons of damage in fights. 2, it's a Mountain Drake. If PLATLAS picks up this Mountain Drake, Baron should theoretically be theirs. All they have to do is find a fight that pushes, they set the pressure Tempest off of it, and they can even 2-man it with Mundo and Vayne.
Well, now Alistar going to make the play onto the Rise, going to get a little bit of a knock-up, and here comes the parallel convergence from Echo again. It's only going to lock down 1, but Duxolo, he had to cleanse to get out. He's still on the run, trying to escape. The cleavers coming in. The ultimate call from Sejuani, Glacial Prison, going to lock up Zion, so the chase will be stifled. But the side of PLATLAS, again, still finding 1, knocking down the enemy team Braum. Cardi will be sitting for another 20 seconds in the enemy base. We'll see what Tempest does with this. They've still got 4 members available. They're not going to be able to fight over the Mountain Drake, excuse me, as it started up by PLATLAS and should be able to be gotten. But they're also not going to shove down onto that first tier turret. They kind of just stand around and they lose a neutral objective.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, it's going to be so hard for anyone on Tempest to sort of be able to absorb any damage coming out of this vein. You have Zohair, who did just pick up the Bramble Vest and look to buy Thornmail, try and cut some of that healing down. But as soon as Vayne opts to pick up any sort of armor pen, you know, like either a... I think Lord Dominic's is fair. I don't think you really have to worry about heal cut. I think if we see Vayne get a Phantom Dancer and Lord Dominic's, it's just going to be so hard for anyone on Tempest to tank through that. She's just going to melt through people. And this is sort of the win condition, right? When you have a Vayne that says, okay, after a certain point, I'm just so strong. And you have Rise, who's sort of in the same boat, but you have to say, would you rather have the Rise or would you rather have the Vayne? In these particular team compositions and the way that these fights have played out, I'd rather have the Vayne.
Now, a good question comes in, is she going to try to build something like a QSS? Because there is that pick potential from Tempest. Hard, difficult, but not impossible with the Sejuani ultimate, the Rise route, even Urgot diving in, flashing to try to toss the Vayne back into the rest of the team. There is that possibility, and that may be one of those saving plays that Tempest can try to pull off to find victory in those team fights. Because if they are able to shut down the Vayne or the Lissandra very early on into a fight, they might actually find victory in the fight overall. But it's going to be a risky play to try to attempt something like that. And there you can see from PLATLAS the 1-3-1 we were expecting out of Tempest. They've got the Echo on the top side, Lissandra in the bottom, and 3 members chilling here in the mid.
Yeah, and just to that point, I think QS is definitely a potential option. But I think given how aggressive they've played, I expect to see a Lord Dominic's coming out first. I don't like the fact that they're looking for this fight with Lissandra not here. Lissandra does have TP available, but might take too long to get to this fight. I think if you're Tempest, this is sort of your window of opportunity.
Let's see if they can make the play.
Just keep Lissandra there and look for the 4v4.
Sejuani around the corner could look for the Echo as Budakis going to be still sitting just off to the side. Sejuani not making the call just yet to throw out that ultimate. Has the Braum and the Rise around the corner. They're vying for position around this mid play. Ooh, good arcane shift by the Ezreal to get out of the E from Echo. Oh, the route onto Mundo. Okay, so Zion going to be locked up for the moment. That's the team making the call. The Braum throwing out that ultimate, dropping Mundo low, but he's going to heal right through everything. And now PLATLAS going to be able to turn it all around. They're going to go in. Hold on a moment, though. The Alistar, he's tanky. He's going to be dropping low. The Lissandra going to Q straight in, take the claw right into the enemy team and lose a ton of health. The poke from the Ezreal is huge. The ultimate out of Urgot, but it's only going to land onto the Mundo. He's not going to matter as he is back to full health with that ultimate heal. The claw from the Lissandra for the disengage. The chase forward from the Urgot. So looking for someone. He's got the Vayne in his sights, forcing the flash out of that parallel convergence from Echo. Will push off the play, but Tempest, they're able to fight their way and don't lose a single person.
Yeah, I knew how that was going to play out for Mundo, and I was still shocked he lived. I was so confident that Mundo was going down right there. This is a very tricky play. They find Echo. This is theirs.
Oh, Budakis dropping low. The Urgot gonna flash forward. That's the hook. That is the grab and toss into the team that I was talking about. The side of Tempest have found themselves one. Are they going to turn straight back onto the Baron? Keep in mind, they've got an Ocean Drake, so if they get low, they can back away, heal up off of the Ocean Drake, and then go to engage in the fight once again. However, Lissandra, in the meantime, in the mid lane, looking to get a little bit of push as the rest of the 3 members from PLATLAS are here. We're going to see if they can try to grab this Baron away, but keep in mind, the side of Tempest, they're the only ones that have smites on the map at the moment, as Alistar is here. Ooh, Urgot going to be going forward. Member knockup by the Alistar. Lissandra over the wall. She's got the Urgot, taking him down. Baron's getting a little bit of poke on the back of PLATLAS, but they don't care. They're dropping the members of Tempest one by one. The Tuber going to be dropping low. Jolan be able to find a kill, as this side of the that was the Sejuani dropping low, going down. Now PLATLAS with 3 members are going to turn onto Baron, try to pick up themselves, but it's a 3v3 at the moment. Neither team has smite. Sorry, 4v3. Members of PLATLAS have 4 members. They're looking for the Baron. Will they be able to grab it? And the Vayne is able to be the one to actually finish it off. So PLATLAS secure themselves the first Baron of the game after a very hard fight and very well fought fight around the Baron to push Tempest off.
Yeah, this is sort of what I was talking about, is you have the Mundo just standing up there, just eating everything, and you have Vayne just decimating fights with damage. And you have Lissandra, who's also kudos to Hutjugo here for playing out of his mind this game, finding so many crucial engages with this Lissandra, getting so many crucial frozen tunes down, feeling super aggressive. Love the way he's playing with Zhonya's, jumping right in, acting like he's going for a play, and Zhonya's he eat up tons of damage or abilities thrown his way. All in all, super well played, and this is exactly how I wanted them to play with this style of composition. Saying, okay, Vayne's online. Though Vayne doesn't have a lot of kills have been coming her way, she still is going to be a huge threat in these fights going forward.
Echo trying to make his own play. Pelican Verge is going to catch out. Come on, shoot faster. And that means that he's going to be throwing out the True Shot Barrage in the wrong direction. Braum desperately trying to save his ADC will go down for it. And now 5 members with the Baron going to straight down, push down the mid lane. They do not care about the side lanes. They want to crack open the base of Tempest. Mundo going to step forward again, doing what he does best, tanking up the enemy team. Alistar going to join him. Going to go ahead and then knock up the Sejuani for a moment as Zohair trying to back away. Zion going to be dropping low. The Urgot doesn't even need the ultimate to finish him off, so they lose the mid lane inhibitor, but they take down one of the enemy team tanks, but that is small pickings in this case as Tempest are looking at moving on for a game 5 because it is a quick math 6,000 gold lead by PLATLAS as they will take themselves another turret in the top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, it's totally worth, right? You got the inhib, they have the pressure now, they've got Baron. They can just look to set up. They do not need to have anyone in the side lane. I want to see them just 5-man run it in.
Well, they can recall and then return with the Baron buff. They just recently took it, so it's still going to be up for a while yet. We'll see what they decide to do with that. Want to check in on what the next Drake is, as we are not to Elder Drakes yet. We're only 31 minutes in. It's going to be another Mountain Drake. So triple Mountain Drakes would secure any neutral objective in the game very quickly, but they don't even need it. The Echo and the Alistar actually a little bit heavy aggression here on the enemy team jungler side of things, just laying in some vision.
Yeah, and so, I mean, as much as, we're talking about PLATLAS having this huge advantage, I don't think that Tempest is just out of the game just yet. They are... Sorry, English is hard. If Ryze can continue to find opportunities in these fights, I think it is possible. Urgot has elected for a much more tank style of build. I think I would like to see him pick up a Death's Dance and a Frozen Mallet. I think those are 2 amazing items on current Urgot. Even if he has to sacrifice the Righteous Glory with Thornmail if he's worried about lifesteal of the Vayne that much. But I really think if you just play around Ryze and Ezreal and just say, okay, Braum, Sejuani, Urgot, go. And you have to kind of ignore the Mundo, right? The problem is they can't kill the Mundo, and that's fine. They need to kill what's behind the Mundo. I don't think they can play this team fight front to back because you have Mundo and Vayne. People who say, yes, please, let's play these team fights front to back. We would love that. I think if you're Tempest, you have to say, maybe that's not how we want to play. We have to sort of look for a side with some flank plays, right? We need Urgot to come in from around the fight, or we need Sejuani to come from around. We need Ryze to look for aggressive realm warps into the fight, taking Sejuani into the middle of the fight, or Braum in the middle of the fight, getting those plays down. Having Braum just eat Vayne damage would just turn a fight around completely.
Yeah, I got to use that Unbreakable very, very wisely. Make sure that you're able to kind of stop Tupper, who at this point in the game did decide to go ahead and build that QSS we were talking about earlier. So still going to be a little bit on the safer side, but if you can't deal damage to the enemy team, you're not going to be able to do all that much. And I got to say, that base defense was actually pretty good from the side of Tempest. That bottom lane turret dropped to about half health. However, they kept themselves from that Mundo getting a free split push on the top side by sending the Urgot up there. And he, at this point in the game, does actually have some pretty good wave clear. He can walk into the middle of a wave, go ahead and throw out that Gatling gun, tear through those minions, clear them up pretty quick, and then join his team. So the Baron buff is gone for now. The PLATLAS won't be able to have that for a while. The next Drake, that Mountain Drake, can be spawning in about a minute's time, and that middle inhibitor slowly ticking before coming back up for Tempest. So as you said, they aren't out of the game just yet, but they need to find the right team fight to get themselves back in. And at the moment, PLATLAS, they're the ones picking the team fights, and they're the ones winning the team fights.
Yeah, I think the team fight's really your first objective as Tempest. I mean, obviously your ideal is to pick up Vayne in these fights, but I think if you focus on Budapest in these fights, I think that's a pretty good place to start. I think if you're able to pick up Echo from there, it's a lot easier to look for the Vayne. I think Budapest has been playing out of his mind in these team fights, getting so many wonderful parallel convergences down. I think he's been sort of like dictating the pace of the game, and I really do think he's the MVP of this game.
We'll see if the MVP can push in for the victory, because one of the things we've seen from PLATLAS is they're not the best at closing a game super cleanly. They tend to drag things out little by little. That said, even in game number 1, Tempest did have the advantage in scaling with the Vladimir. This game, they've got a little bit on that rise, but you're still looking at enemy team Vayne. She's going to be able to finish off the Mountain Drake with the help of the Mundo, currently sitting at 3 completed items and a QSS, going to make it very difficult to lock her down. But the side of Tempest, what can they do? They're moving and getting a little bit of vision on the Baron as it has been started up by PLATLAS, and they're going to bring all 5 members from both parties. No, Great Jace is left, tanking up that mid lane, keeping the Supermans from pushing in, so it's going to be a 4v5 fight. True Shot Barrage from Ezreal, not going to be going in enough to take it. And Sejuani flashes the wall, however, she's able to take the Arctic Assault out, so no one dies in the attempted Baron steal. Look at all the wards that Tempest dropped in the back of the Baron pit to slowly get vision bit by bit on the Baron, dropping low. They try to catch out the Ezreal, and the Echo has dashed on in. He's gonna have to ult backwards as the Sejuani was kind of, no, excuse me, well, Sejuani and Urgot were both kind of in his face. So Echo ultimate is down for a little bit. However, the cooldown on it not that long at 35 minutes into the game.
Yeah, very unfortunate timing on the Arcane Shift there. Did, like you said, pull the Echo with him. Forced the double summoners out of the Ezreal, which is going to be crucial in the next fight. But now that Ezreal does have the Muramata completed along with the Hextech Gunblade, I'm hoping we'll see more damage coming out of him. The biggest problem that I think we're seeing out of Tempest right now is they just don't have any damage output.
Yeah, the Urgot going to try to make a play onto Echo on the bottom side of the map, but he's being taken very low. No, he's going to be able to ult the Echo, and through the shield, doesn't even care, picks up that one, and now with 1 member down, Tempest can move forward aggressively into the mid lane as we're getting a little bit of momentary pause. There we go. The fight, we'll see if it continues as Ezra going to hop over the wall, get a little bit of poke onto Jugo. Not going to chase any further forward, though. They want to wait out this Baron, and that is what they will do.
That is indeed what they will do. Back off reset, wait for Budapest to come back alive. They're not looking for any 4v5 sort of plays. You're trying to get some items. Budapest does now have both the Lichbane and Void Staff completed. Wouldn't be surprised to see either I think a Rabadon. I'm going to call that a Rabadon. I'm not going to say something for a Spellbinder.
I gotta call out Mundo, alright? We are 37 minutes into this game, and Mundo is playing a bit of an internet challenge from way back in the day, probably something like 2009. You know that internet challenge where you tried to put on as many shirts as you could, see how many you could stack up before you were just too big and round to be able to go anywhere? Well, he's doing his best to pull it out again, taking 5 chest pieces this game. He's got himself the Warmogs, the Spirit Visage, the Sunfire Cape, the Gargoyle Stoneplate, and a Bramble Vest. This guy's chest is super, super stacked. Now, I don't know about his legs. He might be skipping leg day, but I'm just saying, anything coming straight into his chest, he will be able to just bounce right back because he is a very tanky boy.
Yeah, I'm really, like, my eyes are on Rise for this next team fight. I want to see if the damage is going to be there. Because, I mean, at 5 items in, you're expecting Rise to just blow away members, but we haven't seen that just yet. Against Baron Minions, not much you can do either. But really curious to see because I think that is like the damage source out of Tempest right now. So it's really going to come down to, who. Oh, it's a big Mundo. So that's an iron pot Mundo right there.
A little bigger than even normal, as there is a wave slowly pushing on the top side of the map, but it has been stalled for the moment. So now the play around the mid lane, True Shot Barrage from Ezra, going to start things off. Going to tear through the side of PLATLAS, so they're going to take a little bit of damage. They do not have an Ocean Drake to heal this back up, so keep that in mind. Whereas the side of Tempest, they can heal up with the Ocean Drake and then return to the fight. Parallel Convergence from the Echo, going to try to start things off, just pushing the members of Tempest back, and that will be the inhibitor going down. But now with the Parallel Convergence closed out, Sejuani's going to throw out that ultimate, catch Lissandra, that's the team going to step forward. from Glacial Fissure. Not gonna be able to do that much besides splitting up the enemy team. Great Jace, gonna be in trouble. He has to go golden as the Vayne. Gonna go ahead and ignore him. He's a little bit tanky as he's trying to get a little bit of damage down on the backside, and we get another freeze for a moment. There we go. The rest of the team from the side of PLATLAS gonna step forward. They're finding themselves the rise. The Ezreal trying to get back to the fountain is actually able to live through that somehow, but that is PLATLAS with 5 members still standing strong. They don't have the Baron buff anymore though, so they actually back away from the fight, only taking the mid lane inhibitor. Now, I'm pretty sure that I am actually a bit ahead or a bit behind you, so let's go ahead and count one more time. I'm 39, 24, 25, 26, 27. If you would match me, that would be awesome. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. We good?
I was just waiting to see how long you would keep counting.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Great content here at XLNC Shoutcasting for the Blue Otter Platinum League Finals. Listen to us count up. We might be able to hit 60 or something eventually. No higher than 60 though. We don't do 61 here.
Now, see, that would be interesting. 61, 62. Wait a second.
Technically, it resets back to 0 at 59, so we don't even do 60. But that besides the point. What we do see is both teams collecting here around the Elder Drake that has spawned. It would favor PLATLAS to be able to secure that for themselves, as they have triple Drakes, and all of the Mountain Drakes would be massive. But the Tempest will have to fight over this. They've sent Rise to deal with the super minions. They're pushing into the mid lane at the moment, but he has that Realm Warp available to join the team. We'll see what he can do with that. As Lissandra not going to take the claw over the wall. Braum going to step forward, trying to protect his team as they're looking to maybe smite away the Elder Drake. Urgot going to step forward, be that front line for the team. Lissandra, no, Alistar goes in, 4-man knockout. That's going to be Lissandra going ahead and ulting herself, setting up everyone to be dropping their health bars low. Urgot's going to get the GA reset. We'll see what damage he can do afterwards, but Jugo's already found Ezreal. Sejuani hopping over the wall, trying to escape the Duck Soul. He's going to be caught by the Condemned from Vayne and drop. In the meantime, though, Urgot finds the kill onto Lissandra, so that is a 3-4-2 fight, one by the side of PLATLAS. They have super minions that are pushing in onto the Nexus turrets. Super minions will secure turret number 1. Mundo TP's in to jump straight onto turret number 2. In the meantime, Echo going golden, making sure Sejuani can't take him down. Urgot's here, though, trying to defend the Nexus itself as Zion Athenian is taking it down bit by bit. Mundo doesn't have the ultimate to heal back up, but he does have flash available. We'll see if he's used that over the wall. Nope, he's just gonna die. Auto-attacking the Nexus, setting up for the Tuber to come in, take a couple more pot shots at it, finishing off the Nexus and securing game number 4 for the side of PLATLAS. And we will be moving on to game number 5 in the finals, ladies and gentlemen.
What a game. What a game. Really, that was what I wanted to say to PLATLAS. It wasn't the cleanest. It was not the cleanest execution of a finish. They've had a lead since 5 minutes into the game. But all in all, they managed to finally close out the game, find the objectives they needed.
Amazing, amazing stuff. And I gotta say that while the team fights weren't always the cleanest, and while things were pretty rough, PLATLAS have been able to find themselves a second victory. They will tie themselves up against Tempest and again set themselves up for the potential win on the series as a whole. And that's a big deal, right? We were looking at these teams as a whole and saying we want to see some good fights from both. We want to see them push in for, just putting it all onto the table till the very, very end. And Tempest destroyed game 2 and 3. And we were going, you know what? It might be over. It might just be a straight 3-1. Juke for a win in game number 1. Not sure that PLATLAS, maybe Tempest didn't warm up very well and PLATLAS just happened to find themselves the victory there. But no, they come back and they are looking super, super good. Still some mistakes they need to shore up, but their decision making was the big thing this game that looked so good, and huge plays by Budicus on this Echo in the jungle.
Yeah, and you just touched on it. Budicus just popped off that game. The amount of pressure he put on the bot lane, he didn't have to worry about top and top lane. Did pretty well despite my hesitations, and then also Jugo just finding so many great engages over the song. Like Chad saying, cue the silver script because we're going to game 5. It's gonna be a good one.
All right, well, we're going to take a very quick break, enjoy the Silver Scrapes music, and we will be right back with game number 5, the biggest one of all, everything on the line. It's one game to find out who is the winner of the Blue Otter Platinum League. Someone's going to be champions after this.
can here.